All right, this is part 2 of False Gods. I want to read this verse. I probably should have read it at the beginning, but I think you've got the gist of it, and I'm going to read this verse. It's from 1 John 2, chapter 2, verse 15 through 17. And it says, "Do not love the world or the things in the world. If anybody loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world is passing away, and the lust of it, but he who does the will of God abides in it forever." That's a good verse. That's a real good verse. And it's very appropriate for this sermon. Now, the next thing we're going to cover here, what do we got? Popular culture. Popular culture. Popular culture means, and we've been this way, for centuries. Popular culture means that I follow a person on here, and they're a great actor, they're a great singer, they're a great dancer, and then all of a sudden, they become a priest, a philosopher, a director, a person with power and influence. Now, I don't have a problem with that. But I just have a problem with how they make this transformations. They didn't make it when they were poor. They didn't make it when they're, doing stand-ins for cheap movies. They do this. And it's not just in the entertainment business. It's with all people. Power gives people a mic piece. And that's okay. Everybody's got 15 minutes of fame. The problem is with it is when you start developing a crowd of people that are following you, that they think you're God, or they wait for you to tell them what to think, based on something. It's not a good thing. I try not to know these people. I don't, they can say a name to me or something, and I will say, I don't know who that is. You know why? Because I don't want to know who it is. I don't really care. Personally, I care for their salvation, I care for their soul, and I pray that they will find the Lord. But as far as my concerns for their work, doesn't mean anything. It just shows that many, many humans are out there lost, walking around. Anyway, I'll drop down. The next one, of course, is wealth and power. I've trying to touch on that. Wealth, listen. These folks that are multi-mega pastors that can have a $10 million mansion and fly or sit in a 747 jet of their own or whatever, I got to give them hands, because I tell you what, that would corrupt the dickens out of me. I don't know if I could handle it. I'd want to sit in a hot tub. I'd want to swim in the pool. I'd want to rub noses with the big boys. I'm glad I'm not wealthy. It's literally a death row. And I'm telling you, the love of money and wealth, and right hand in hand with that is power. And I'm not talking from power above. I'm talking power from Satan, and I'm talking power from humans. And they're looking for that. That's what they want. But unfortunately, no matter how much power and how much wealth you got, your time on this earth is limited, my friends. And you can't buy life. You have no control over it. So I suggest you use your time here wisely and find your true treasure. I did mark down human excesses, the 7 deadly sins, sex, gluttony, and all these things. And obviously, that's in all of us. We've had this thing from the birth, from the time when this earth was fallen. Now here's one of my favorites. Archaeology. I am an amateur archaeologist. And I'm not too bad of a one either. I research lost tribes, lost people. I look to preserve their heritage. In the case here, it's Native Americans. And I feel that I've contributed in that. And there's much more to contribute. But at the end of the day, I knew who made those bones. And I knew who made my bones. But I'm telling you, you got people out here going, yeah, I used to believe in God, but hey, they showed me that 55 million year old snake, and I know now that, of course, the earth ain't 55 million years old, or it is 55 million years old, so that's pretty much it. You don't want to go with that, because I'll tell you why. One of the reasons, and I've told many of them, archaeology is plagued with inconsistencies. There are huge gaps of millions of years there. There's no proof of a missing link. You know, there's not a fur fish out there. There's not an otter or beaver that had fish scales decide to knock them off. And I know I'm being facetious there, but I'm just saying you could put holes in it this big. And then they have this dating, the carbon dating, which if you look really closely, you'll find it's based upon the magnetic field of the Earth, and that this magnetic field cannot flux, or could have not fluxed in 10 million years, exactly at the same decaying rate, to get these accurate readings. They hold you these bones up. Yeah, this bone's 50 million years old. Look at this here. But then they got caves in the world where they show that same dinosaur, and they got arrows sticking in the head and spears sticking out of the thing. And these are in drawings, and it ain't 50 million years old. You know, I don't know, 10, 15,000 years old per their study. So where's that at? You know what I mean? Where is this? And it sounds like a good scientist. I mean, you've got people, they're trying to find the origin of man. They're going to tell you that. And I'm going to tell you, they're trying to disprove the creation of God. That's their goal. And I don't think it's like a big conspiracy. I just think it's there. I just think that's man to its thinking. What do we got next? Astronomy. That's a dandy. Planets, moons, stars, all these things. Again, time has run out on me, it looks like. Pretty close. So I'm going to cut it. We're going to leave it at astronomy. And I'm going to wrap up this sermon, part 3, coming up here. So stay tuned. I'm just about done with this. Be patient.